If you have a pulse, you have a parasite. That was just one of the many truth bombs dropped in this week's podcast episode on all things parasites that blew my mind. Dr. Lauren Kolowski, my guest, has been promoting natural healing through chiropractic and nutrition services for 13 years. Her and her husband have a clinic in Colorado where they have helped thousands enhance their health naturally. She also has a Master Clinician status in nutrition response testing. If after listening to this episode, you'd like to know more about working with Dr. Lauren, look in the show notes for a special offer. So, if everyone has a parasite, aren't you curious to know what to do about that? Sounds like we should know all we can about how serious of an issue this is and how to address it. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this conversation. Welcome to the Daily Wellness Podcast, where you can learn about healthy living and be inspired to take the next step in your wellness journey. Dr. Lauren, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm so excited to chat with you. We're going to talk about parasites today. And I was kind of thinking to myself, I was like, how do you begin a podcast on parasites? Like, this is a very interesting topic, but it really came to my mind recently. In the news, there was a neurosurgeon that found a parasite in a woman's brain during surgery that he pulled out. And it's 3 or 4 inches long. And I saw pictures of that in several different places. And it just made me think, wow, I know it's a hot topic in health, right? But a lot of people just think of parasites maybe in dirty water or in third world countries or something, but it's a very real problem for everybody. So I would love for you to teach us about it today. And so maybe we could just start by talking about why this is even important to talk about.
Sounds good. Yes, happy to. I truly believe that we all do in life whatever it is that we do because we, our calling called us. Something chose you. You experience something that gives you the ability to become an expert on a topic and then help other people through it, right? Like, that's all of us. All of our callings are different, right? And so the thing that chose me was health problems. I had health problems from a very young age. I had pain and inflammation from a very young age, different scenarios of suffering throughout elementary, junior high, high school, college, doctorate program, right? And into adulthood. And what was interesting is the years of suffering of not knowing what was wrong led me to a discovery that the problem was parasites. And so when your eyes are absolutely open, from a patient perspective, I was a patient before I was a practitioner. I did anything and everything that this doctor told me to do because he absolutely honed in on the problem, told me what to eat and what not to eat because certain foods were feeding the problem. I mean, it was mind-blowing information, Meredith, because no one had ever talked with me about that before, right? Like, I was a lab rat. All they ever did was injections or blood draws, CT scans, MRIs, everything came back normal. And I am losing my mental and physical health, and I'm sick as a dog. And so when someone finally finds an answer and gives you logical, healthy solutions instead of drugs and surgery, you dive headfirst, all in. And that's exactly what I did. And with that being said, my husband and I, we did everything, and we single-handedly, with the help of this doctor, he gave us the action steps, and we did all the things. It was out of pocket. Insurance doesn't cover stuff like that, right? And if you go down the rabbit hole of that, you can absolutely find how the root of most disease has a parasitic component. It blows my mind how that can be the case, and most people don't know to even look for it. And so I was a patient before I was a practitioner. Got my doctorate in chiropractic, dove headfirst into nutritional healing and detox information and protocols. And 13 years ago, my husband and I, we opened our brick and mortar, which is a combo clinic of chiropractic and nutrition. Now, here in today's world, we have actually gone completely 100% virtual, and we have the ability to help people all over the country. Now, if you all look at the time frame, Friday, September 29th was the last full moon. It was the last supermoon of 2023. We pay attention to the moon cycle because the moon cycle comes with heightened parasite activity. So if people were not feeling good, not sleeping well, emotional, uncomfortable, sick, here the week leading up to that full moon, we know where it's coming from. And so we have people doing their protocols with us. Some people are to the point of being capable to do purges, to get rid of those critters. We had photos come through of 30-inch long parasites.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts. And so even if the people were not pooping out 30-inch long things, there are parasites that are different sizes. And they might be microscopic, and they might be visible to the eye, and they might not be.
Wow. So what were the symptoms that you specifically were having that doctors couldn't find an answer to?
You know, the long list or the short list?
Sure, the long list.
So the major one had lots to do with fatigue, insomnia, anxiety, depression, and female issues. But then you could even get a deeper dive: skin problems, hair loss, again, more emotional scenarios, digestive issues. A lot of things either itched or hurt or didn't work, right? All systems of the body. They itched or hurt or didn't work. And the weirder the symptoms for people, the more they come to me and tell me that all their blood work was normal, and their labs and their medical tests were normal, the more likely we are going to hone in on its parasitic involvement.
Wow. Can you tell us what a parasite even is?
A parasite is an immune challenge that has no symbiotic relationship with the rest of us. If you look at the human biome, we have lots and lots of, it's a symbiotic relationship between the different fungal, even bacterial, mainly bacteria, right? Probiotics, like the good bugs versus the bad bugs. And the reason someone goes out of balance is when the good bugs are overtaken by too many bad bugs: bacterial, viral, parasitic, fungal, okay? Co-infections with Lyme's disease, like all of that, like that's an overgrowth, a microbiome imbalance. And so the parasite shouldn't be there. And are they there? Yes, they are. We have a saying that says if you have a pulse, you have a parasite. However, it's when the immune system is so beat up, it doesn't have a checks and balances system. And therefore, the parasitic activity just goes out of control. And so a parasite literally, a lot of them literally look like worms. I mean, they're worms. And again, they could be under the microscope. You can't see them unless you look under the microscope, and others are 30 inches or longer, right?
So you think almost everyone has parasites?
If you have a pulse, you have a parasite.
Okay. I'm a little mind blown by that, because I don't know, I thought you might say like 50% or something. I don't know. That's crazy.
So, then the next question is like, where do we get parasites? Well, it can be by swimming in a lake or a river. It's actually common for people to get parasites from swimming pools. There are micro problems even with the chlorine. And so you can get it from a dog licking your face. You can get it from the cat sleeping in your bed. You can get it from a couple passing it back and forth, right? It like all types of fluids can be passed back and forth. It can be passed back and forth if you sleep in the same bed as a friend who has the problem, right? So, I mean, they are in our normal daily life. So you can eat them, you can drink them. They might be in fruit juice. And so again, it's not this thing of, bubble wrap yourself and never leave the house and stay home to avoid all parasitic activity, but it is the immune system on point and in check to keep them in check? or are they going to have a heyday? In me, I was so inflamed and sick and swollen and damaged tissue in my gut and in my all different areas of my body that they have a heyday with that. They love that. That's a food source for a parasite. So I was a perfect breeding ground for them. It's really still just similar to, you're looking at the health integrity of the host. I was a perfect host for them, right? And so it still just comes down to making each individual healthy so that they don't take on all the toxins and all the critters. And the most unhealthy people are the perfect breeding ground for those immune problems.
Yeah. So just to clarify, do you think that everyone needs to seek treatment for parasites, or only if they have symptoms that they can't resolve?
So I am the person who always would recommend people do things proactively for their health so that they don't wait for the wheels of the bus to fall off before they do something about it. However, am I saying that everyone needs to do a full moon cleanse every full moon cycle? No, right? So there's a delicate balance there, and that's the beauty of working with someone like me who has the ability to hone in on what you do or do not need to do, because we don't just pass out random full moon cleanses to every person on the planet who connects with us. We are there to communicate over, well, we need to do an evaluation of you in order to pinpoint what you actually do need to do. But if you have a pulse, you have a parasite, most likely all of us would benefit from opening detox pathways, drainage pathways, and, not eating the standard American diet that feeds parasites.
Yeah. Okay. So if you do feel like it's something you need to address, you've already hinted at some of the steps, but what are the steps to get rid of parasites?
Well, like I just said a minute ago, the key to it is to not feed the problem. Parasites love processed grains, sugar, processed dairy, right? And so the standard American diet feeds the immune issues. So if the first thing every person in every household could do would be to get rid of the processed carbohydrates, sugar, grains, look into the oils, canola oil and all the seed oils. Just the food is a problem, right? The American food supply is a problem. And so if we're eating the things that are going to feed the problem, that would be step one. Stop doing that. Stop eating the things that are going to feed the problem and make you a perfect breeding ground for feeding the bugs. Step number two is, like I said, if I could work with people who said, I have no problems, I feel great, I just want to come to you and put me on a nutritional healing protocol to just help me continue feeling great, that'd be fun and cool, but that does not happen. People come to me after the wheels of the bus are already falling off. So what I mean by that is they are noticing health problems. They are not feeling great. They've probably been to multiple medical appointments and scans and blood draws, and it all comes back normal. That is the person who finds me. Why? Because that used to be me. We attract who we can help from our own experiences, right? And so, the word gets out and people send, you got to go to this clinic and Dr. Lauren and her associates, and that's how people find us. But they usually find us when they're already having health concerns. And so in our clinic with our virtual client, we're honing on the nutritional detox products as well as the nutritional healing products, mixed with diet and lifestyle suggestion in order for them to take control back over their health.
Okay. And then what happens after this? What are some of the results that you have seen, like the before and afters? Could you give us some examples?
Oh boy. You can have everything from the normal, right? Headaches go away. Digestive upset goes away. Constipation goes away. Diarrhea goes away. Infertility leads to being fertile and being pregnant and having a successful pregnancy. So those are normal and common. And I say normal, but normal isn't normal. It is just common. Common does not mean make it normal. I'm just saying so many people suffer with the normal things, right? Less anxiety, less depression. So those are the symptoms that are plaguing people that we get results with all the time. I mean, if you look back at my week and I'm taking notes over what the person is reporting. Some of the most major ones that we had this last week, we literally have a young lady. She has blood in every bowel movement. It's been going on, and she has nothing, no medical tests are explained or giving her any insight. She's been with us for a while now. She's not pooping blood anymore. We also had a person, she looks like an absolute skeleton. She was defecating out her vagina because parasites were eating the vaginal wall. She went medical route. They cut some things out. They're going to do drugs and surgery. And yet this person is a white, pale, frail skeleton walking with a cane at the early age of 30s. She had 2 young children. After working with us, she's this fit little mama in her yoga pants and running around taking kids to their events, right? So we pride ourselves on helping people get symptom relief. But more than that, we are excited to help them get back to their life.
Wow, that's amazing. That's really incredible. Do the symptoms that people have like depend on the type of parasite that they have?
To be honest, no. There is no rhyme or reason to that. It's just with our, when we evaluate what they need, there are 4 different categories of parasite sizes, and there is no rhyme or reason to that. No. So it really is just us honing in on what they are needing at the time.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, one of the questions I always like to ask people is like what healthy living resources you would recommend to someone that's kind of getting started on their health journey and things like that. So since you are a great resource, could you share about how someone could work with you, what resources you have available, and things like that?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So would we be able to provide a link that people would be able to go to our website, as well as if they wanted to book a one-on-one appointment? Cool. Okay. So that would be how they can connect specifically with us. However, some of our biggest resources in the world of healthy living and healthy food is the Weston A. Price Foundation. So they also have a website. They also have social media. They basically take people back to the way great grandma would have cooked and ate. Yeah, they are wonderful. They are, so again, from the general food recommendation that we recommend to every person, we do get more specific when we are one-on-one with someone. But there are general recommendations that the entire American population would stop eating this and start eating that. We would have an increase in health. That's absolutely where to go for that. And from a one-on-one standpoint with us, like I said, we've been in clinical practice for 13 years. We have all sorts of information, and at a click of a button that once someone becomes a patient in our clinic, we end up having the ability to just pass out all sorts of, specific information that we have curated over 13 years. But there is so much good that you can get out of simply going to the Weston A. Price Foundation website. Weston A. Price. Then there is also studying the works of Dr. Royal Lee, studying the works of even some of the great chiropractors. I mean, if you're looking for whole body health that does not involve drugs and surgery, you are just getting. And so I'm happy to provide more of those things in link form for you.
Yeah, we'll for sure link all of that stuff in the show notes for everyone so they can reach out to you easily and the resources that you're recommending here. I know that this is switching gears a little bit. I know that you've kind of been on the front lines of just really advocating for health, true health and medical freedom and things like that. Is there anything on your heart that you just would love to share with people along the lines of just pursuing health in general? Or
yes, coming from someone who spent tens of thousands of dollars and 10 years of wasted time being told what to do in the medical realm and being gaslighted over what I thought was going on, I didn't go through all of that only to have Bill Gates tell me what to inject into my body. Not going to do it. Over my dead body. Good. You're going to have to try that. So the reason I come so strong in that realm is because nobody is going to tell me what to do with my body and how to handle my health after all I've been through. So there's plenty of folks who have not been through as much as I have, and they're less bold about saying no. Everybody try it. No. Right? It's that easy. And I have had more people over the years come out and thank me to, give courage, my courage, helping other people have courage. I have plenty of doctors that I follow. Their courage gave me courage. If we all give each other courage, then we can stand up to the insanity that's going on. And so ask me if I'm not answering the question that you were asking. I just feel that the reason I have the wherewithal to have the stance that I have is because of the struggle I took to get where I am now. And that was by going against that type of health recommendation. So nobody's ever going to force me to do that type of health recommendation ever again.
Right. Yeah. I know just from following you on Instagram, I can see your passion and drive to really not just talk about health, but like practically help people with their health and give them tools and wisdom and resources. And so I just really appreciate what you're doing. And I want to encourage you to keep going and just let you know that you're making a difference and having an impact. And I'm glad that you're having a voice, that you're being given these spaces and places to really share your heart on that, because it means that maybe somebody doesn't have to go through what you did, right? If they can catch the message, then maybe they can avoid all of the heartache that you had to go through.
So with that being said, I will say from the stage, if I had to do it all over again, I would, because if I can take one for the team and prevent my children from having the experience I had, totally worth it. And then that went outside of our household, and we had the clinic that we had, and we have the new clinic of virtual, being able to work with people across the country. If I had to take one for the team, learn the hard way, do the work, be the example. If I just had that message, but I didn't have 13 years of clinical experience with proof of people excited to have their health back, and thousands of families served, and hundreds of, tens of thousands of appointments given. I mean, right? Like at the end of the day, it's kind of like, hey, you don't have to, don't trust us. Look at the social proof. Look at all the people near and far who, we truly believe God put in front of us who we could help. Please, God, bring me who I can help. That's always our prayer. Whoever needs to hear me speak, they're going to be in that room. I know they are. Right? Like having that mindset. And when you take one for the team and it prevents suffering from someone else, that very much, I'm proud of that. I understand God's plan for me if I look at it that way, because I could be pretty mad and bitter. I could be pretty upset over time, money, and energy and happiness lost. And I don't, because I look at that as that was his plan for me.
Really beautifully said.
Thank you.
Just a couple fun questions as we wrap up. One is, what is your favorite healthy snack?
Some people will say it's not healthy, but bacon.
Just depends on what kind of bacon it is.
Right? It's not bottom barrel stuff. Your rancher, your farmer, how they've raised the animal, and saturated fat is not bad for you.
That's awesome. I love that one. I can put that on my list too. And then the other question is, who would you love to see as a guest on the Daily Wellness podcast?
Dr. Lisa Palmer.
Okay. Dr. Lisa Palmer. Tell me about her. I'm not sure I know who it is.
Dr. Lisa Palmer, she is in the same industry I am in, and she is also a mentor and a guide for doctors like myself.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. I'll have to reach out to her. Look forward to learning about her. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate your wisdom. I feel like this is going to be so helpful for people that are stuck in the place that you were in many years ago of, all my labs look good, quote unquote. And, the doctors can't find anything. I don't know what else to do. And so thank you for sharing your wisdom. I really appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to today's episode on the Daily Wellness Podcast. We hope that you found it helpful for your own wellness journey, and if so, we'd love for you to leave a review. Then come back and listen for review shoutouts on upcoming episodes. For more information, check out the show notes and connect with us on our website, dailywellnesscommunity.com.